try something new. Do a mobile mic to mic.
Hopefully it works out.
It's probably not because
you're gonna have to turn off the radio entirely.
I have a loud car. I put the silencer in, aka the butt plug, moments ago. But you know, try to keep the RPMs down.
Yeah, yeah. Just go like 5 miles the whole way home.
Yeah, and seatbelts will prevent the beepy, boppy sound.
I'm way ahead of you.
So, I know we've been behind a little bit.
Yeah.
We've had many of things. We finished Retro Games World Expo.
Yep.
Retro World Expo. Yeah, added the games.
Seemed like that went pretty well.
It did. It did go really well. You were manning the store.
I was, yeah. I couldn't be there. I had to stay at the store.
You were there in spirit, though.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, aren't I always everywhere?
You know what's awesome?
What?
The Boston Post. Making a left-hand turn on the Post Road, which I'm not even going to try to do.
Oh, you're making it right, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, it's still equally awesome.
Yeah. Try crossing this on foot. It's pretty fun.
It's like Frogger, real-life Frogger.
It kind of is, actually, because you have to time it, because you're allowed to...
I'm just going to go.
I kind of allow myself to stop in the
I could just go in this lane like I'm gonna.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, you never really know.
But yeah, you can get halfway there and kind of stop on the yellow line, and then you have to wait for like a good opening moment. Sometimes you just have to walk in front of people. It's the only way to do it. Just hope they stop.
Yeah, I'm just gonna loop around, and then we'll head on back. So, you have been on your horror movie marathon.
I have been. This is a personal quest, because ever since I was a young man, I always went, you know, it would be awesome, man, to watch 31 horror movies in like in October, and like finish it off with a really core horror movie. And then that's like, I guess I'm not the only person who came up with that idea, because a lot of people do it. But I never finished it. I'd get like 2 or 3 days into the week of like the first week.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot.
It is, but you know, like once you're actually fully into it, it actually becomes kind of easy.
Yeah,
you fall into this groove of just like you want to watch more, you know.
I think now, are you doubling up on some days, or have you been consistent? Some days, one per day?
Some days, yes, just out of necessity. Like you and I watched Sleepaway Camp and From Beyond
Didgeridoos
on one night. I'm counting it as I need to watch 31
Well,
horror
technically, I think we started that at like 11 o'clock on one night, and then finished at like 2 a.m.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there you go. You got them on a technicality.
Well, there was one night where I watched like 2 movies in one night because I was just bored and I wanted to.
There you go.
But the way I'm doing it is at least if I get at least 31 movies, I'll be happy.
Yeah. No, it's been hard, and I've been just trying to. We had an ambitious month planned with trying to get through the Halos, and then also playing Dead Space. And then I know you decided to try to do Dead Space 1 and 2.
I'm gonna at least get through 2. I want to try to do all 3. I don't know if that'll work out, but we'll give it a shot. Anyways, I got 2 weeks, so.
Mikey finished. I know it's going fast. Mikey finished 1 the other night and blew through 2, I think, in one day.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him a little bit about it, and he said that he liked 1 a little bit more. But I think that 2 is definitely like 1 has a lot more isolation to it.
Yeah.
Which kind of really adds more to the horror. 2 is more of a blockbuster experience.
Okay, so that kind of answers my question, because I was wondering if 2 is more polished than 1.
Yeah.
Because 1 I like, it's just part of it I don't like because it's kind of rough around the edges, where it's kind of like you have this inventory management system, and they don't tell you about it at first. Yeah. And then you can upgrade your gun, but they kind of don't explain to you that you need to use these little nodes, and they mention it, but then they don't tell you how to get more or anything like that, so you're just hoping you find more. And I don't know, the upgrade tree is kind of weird, but it's an interesting game.
I think they do kind of the same thing with 2, as far as like they don't really introduce the inventory system or the weapon. I think you just come across a bench and you're just expected to sort of figure it out.
Well, I'm assuming they think everybody had played 1.
Yeah.
Which is not always a safe bet, but whatever.
They do have a pretty nice, like, previously on segment at the start of the game.
Just like Deadly Premonition.
Well, not at the start of every... Just when you're starting the game off, you can choose.
Yeah.
Not like every couple minutes.
Well, you know, I mean...
We can't all be Deadly Premonition.
Look, man, Deadly Premonition had a deep, engaging story, so
and then,
you needed constant recaps. Yes. So, yeah, Dead Space 1 is coming along kind of well. And we're going to try to do Fatal Frame. it's just so hard with our schedules, like trying to work together.
That would be nice if that bleeds into November, though. I think that's
okay.
I
want to at least finish it.
We got to stop for the children here.
Oh boy.
Man, these kids think they're doing. Just take their time.
Damn kids! Look at that
Kids.
one. That's Ashley Olsen. That's Mary Kate Olsen. But that, watching 31 horror movies and then playing horror games has kind of gotten me on the topic of just like horror in general, and it's weird to me that like there are certain, like I watched Amityville Horror recently, and everybody I talked to is like, that's the scariest horror movie ever made, and I didn't think it was scary at all. Like I thought it was kind of boring, to be honest with you. Like it was a great movie, but I didn't like it as a horror movie. I liked it just as its own, as a movie. So it's kind of like, it's hard to explain why something works as in horror, in games too, and why it doesn't work,
Yeah. I think with that, what really got under people's skin was just that it's based on a true story. Like,
yeah.
So then people kind of, whenever they get that at the start of a movie, their heads just start running wild with that, and they're like, oh, this all happens exactly as I'm watching it. And then they, freak out more so. I think that's why, like, so many people find the Paranormal Activity movie, not that they're based on anything.
No,
of
course
they
not.
seem
but it
plausible
seems real,
because it's all, so it gets in people's heads more.
Yeah.
And I think that was, kind of, since it was so long ago, maybe one of the first movies that people felt that way about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, horror movies and horror games are... It's weird that some of them work for some things, because the thing is, like, I really don't like found footage movies that much.
Yeah.
Because you end up seeing all these shots that you couldn't actually get in real life unless you were a professional photographer.
Right.
And that's actually a new thing in the M. Night Shyamalan movie that just came out, like the Visit. Okay. Where it's the little girl filming everything, but they show her camera at one point, and it's like a professional grade camera that's like shoulder mounted. So like that kind of takes me out of it. But the whole thing with like found footage is like, I hate the movies, but I love the game Outlast up until the end, because the end was horrifyingly bad.
Sort of to tie Dead Space back, one of the things that made me really appreciate Dead Space was before it had come out, maybe right after.
Yeah.
Let's make it loud for a second. I had watched a bunch of documentaries on the making of it.
Yeah.
And they pointed out a lot of stuff that, I mean, I guess some people may find as common sense, but I never really put a lot of thought into for making a horror game. And they were saying, for example, we lost our camera. When making a horror movie, it's pretty easy to assume where everybody will be looking on the screen, because you pretty much can center everything.
Yeah.
And it's only one screen that you have to be dedicated to. But in a game, you put somebody in a three-dimensional environment. Who knows what direction they're looking?
Yeah, you're never going to know if they're looking in the correct way. You don't know if they're going to be heading in the right spot.
Right.
You can sequence break. There's a lot to it, and I think a lot of the things you can get away with a lot more in horror games than you can with horror movies. Because my biggest problem is when I watch a horror movie, if the people in it don't act rational, if they're just like, oh, is there a monster outside? I'm gonna go check it out. It's like, I can see that and be like, well, that's stupid. They should have done it like this.
Yeah.
But in a game, it's leaving it up to you. Like, you have a general, you know where you need to go, but you can approach things from the way you would kind of want to. And that's how it was with Outlast, where, you're looking through the night vision viewfinder of a camera the whole game. And then they kind of worked with that, where there was a part where you lost the camera. And so it came at the perfect time, because I was really used to the game. I'm like, this isn't that scary anymore. I've gotten used to it. And then you lose the camera, and you can't see anything. There's no night vision anymore. So you're kind of like quietly sneaking around, like hoping there's not any of the people like hanging around gonna kill you. And then when you finally get it back, there's like a jump scare. But like, that's the kind of thing you can do in a game that you can't really do in a movie,
Right. And I think,
and it's interesting.
Both with horror games and movies, the one thing that keeps you sort of engaged or on the edge of your seat most is pacing, which is the hardest thing to really nail. Because, with a game you get so used to, like, you start feeling comfortable as a player, and the monsters start losing their fear factor, because you're like, all right, well, I'm pretty confident I can kill them now whenever they pop up. And that's another thing I think that Space does really well. They keep introducing either new enemies or newer ways to go about them.
Yep.
And that kind of really keeps it like.
I will say one of the more clever things that I've seen from Dead Space is you don't have a HUD. It's just you can see your life because your spine lights up, and then you can see how much of that weird like magical power you have because there's like a little like donut-shaped thing that lights up. Yeah, I think the gun shows its ammo on its like viewfinder or something like that, and I thought that was kind of an interesting way to do it because you know you still know you're playing a game, but it kind of takes you out of it a little bit.
Right.
Like it makes you feel more intimate, like you're there.
And it transfers, you know, really well into the inventory system too, because you're never really paused. Although I mean, it is a game that can be paused. It's not like, you know, Dark Souls or anything like that.
Yeah.
But when you have to do any kind of inventory management, it's all like, so something could still sneak up behind you when you're in the middle of it, you know, managing your inventory.
Yeah.
Which I think is like awesome because it really kind of makes you think about, all right, is it safe now for me to try to like, you know, transfer this around or look at this or read a text log or something like that?
Yeah, that was games have started to do that now, and like I know a couple of people who don't like it when that happens, but I actually kind of like the way it works because it doesn't work for every game, but like Dark Souls did it that way where if you look in your inventory, the game doesn't pause. So you got to know where you are. Like you can't just go like, all right, I'm going to stop here, and then you know there's enemies all around. And then I remember Zombie U, that was actually a big part because they showed your inventory on the Wii U tablet, but the game wouldn't pause, so you'd have to look up from your tablet to make sure there's no zombies coming or anything like that. I think that's, you know, as games get more and more graphically intensive, I think it's going to be stuff like that that's going to be added, like little tiny touches to make things more creative. Yeah. Because you can't rely on graphics anymore. Well, to a certain extent you can, but I mean, it's interesting to see that, you know, it's interesting to see what people can come up with.
So it's been a good October so far, though. I mean, I've been loving, you know, pretty much all the horror aspects that we've been jumping into. But, I don't know, like, I'd like to play a little bit more. I'd like to get a Silent Hill in at some point. I know that there's definitely not going to be enough time, but for me, they've always kind of been quintessential to October because they're just such great horror games.
Yeah.
Have you know, you've seen the first movie, but not the second, right?
Yeah.
Now, video game movies don't have a good track record whatsoever, except for Doom, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you know, it's really The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock shot some guy, but he was a bad guy.
You get like a little first-person segment, and everyone's like, "Ah."
I feel like when they did that, they were just kind of like, well, what are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do at this point?
Make it like the game. That'll work.
Like, wait a minute, we've made it this far, and we really, I mean, we've got some very vague ties to the game.
Yeah.
Shoot it in first person. That'll do it.
I mean, that was a terrible movie, but I did like that.
That was a cool part.
That was a funny thing to put in.
Now, I don't know. I thought the first Silent Hill movie. Yeah. But I like weird. You know, sometimes I like cheesy movies and like. Yeah. You know, but the few things that they did to change or combine the storylines, they did so with a good reason. And like when they changed, the biggest one being they changed the father to a mother.
Well, see, that was
intentional though, because and I remember watching some of the making of stuff. They were saying that most audiences are going to connect a lot more with a mother going through all of these things for her daughter. Yeah, not to make guys sound like insensitive,
but it makes sense.
But it makes, I mean, like she gets put through some shit, you know, really.
Well, see, my issue with that movie is like you also had Sean Bean being like, I'm the father. I'm going to come and rescue her when she needs to be rescued.
Right,
like,
and he like does.
I don't like that. Yeah,
I mean,
like
I kind of not nothing, but he's just.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a very interesting, wishy-washy. Some moments he's like tearing apart like the library and going, going for everything, and then other moments he's kind of like, well, I'll just sit back and.
So have you seen Jacob's Ladder?
No.
Because that's kind of
educate me.
Well, the thing is, when Silent Hill came out, it was based heavily off of Jacob's Ladder. Okay. So Jacob's Ladder is a movie with Tim Robbins, I think, in it. And it's this guy, and I can't really spoil anything for you, because, I mean, the ending is pretty much easy to figure out, but it's very much a thing where he's in, like, his nightmares start to bleed into real life, and, like, he'll fall asleep, and then the next day he wakes up, and his wife is completely different. and like she's a completely different woman entirely, and he's like, what the heck happened here? It's like, oh, what do you mean? Like, we got married like 6 years ago, and then he falls asleep again, and he's back with his other wife, and he's like, what the hell is going on? And it's just like this constant weird sort of torture for him where he's trying to figure out what's going on.
Kind of want to watch it.
It's definitely worth watching. The ending is a little bit hokey, I think, but I mean, because the thing is, the reason why I brought it up is because you're mentioning Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And I feel like a better representation of the game is just Jacob's Ladder. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting parts in it. It's a subtle movie sometimes too, but it's very good.
They did I think the Silent Hill movie had a good ending.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I don't remember it.
So it leaves you really because they make it back out of Silent Hill, but they're still in like Otherworld. It's still foggy, but they don't really like acknowledge that.
Oh, okay.
And she goes back to the house. I guess spoiler alert, but
well, whatever.
Yeah, and it shows. I don't even remember Sean Bean's character's name. Like,
Sean Bean. No, wait, it was John Bean.
Was it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. He's at the house too.
Yeah.
But it shows him like sitting on the couch,
but differently.
But it's
I
all
think
like
I
the lighting
this
is
now.
brighter, and it shows her sitting on the couch, and but like the door's open, and he didn't leave the door open, and it's kind of like a weird.
Yeah, I'm starting to remember this now.
But I think that kind of is Silent Hill, though. It's always you never really get a solid answer. I mean, I think the thing with Silent Hill is it's like people's hell, it's their purgatory. You know, like she probably died in the car accident, and there is no getting out of it. But she's out of the hell of Silent Hill, though, because her soul. I don't know. You can get into it, but, the second movie is just more fun to like watch. Like it's kind of like an amusement park ride. It's, it you know, I don't know. It's cool.
Now I remember a lot of people I knew got really upset when the first Silent Hill movie came out because they're like, Pyramid Head's in it. I'm like, well, you guys love Pyramid Head. He's like, Pyramid Head can't be in the movie because it's not Harry something or other. And I'm like, it's a movie. It doesn't matter. Like,
I mean, you can't make a movie representation of a video game and not put the iconic thing that everyone relates that video game to. That would be like making a Halo movie finally, and then being like...
Finally, it sounds like there's something buried deep inside you. God damn, they'll never make a Halo movie.
They just talked about it like so many times. And, you know, and they made some cool stuff, though. But and having it be like based on Reach or something. And then, you know, a lot of people be like, I don't know, it looks like a robot guy. But is that Master Chief? Like, everyone knows Master Chief, you know? And then... so, yeah, I mean, for reasons of that, I liked it. I thought that he was like a good antagonist, you know, in the movie, but...
for what, Master Chief?
No. Or Pyramid Head.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, didn't he rip a lady's head off or something?
Yeah, he did. No, her skin.
She was naked?
Her skin.
I remember that.
Like, somehow, like, it all comes off in one clump. Like, he just rips all of it off. Yeah. And then just, like, tosses it at the church door.
It's like, you ever see that show, Malcolm in the Middle?
Yes.
Do you remember the episode where, like, the oldest boy who was living at home still, he got, like, a sunburn and his skin started peeling? And so he was trying to peel it off in one piece because his whole body was sunburned. And he basically made like a human flesh suit. And he was just like slowly peeling it off. And I think it ended up getting sucked up in a vacuum cleaner or something like that. It was so disgusting, but it was kind of a funny like storyline. I don't know why. It just reminded me of that because the lady getting her skin ripped off.
Suit, yeah.
I just remember she was naked in that movie.
She was.
Yeah, because it's sad as it is. When it comes to horror movies, I remember the nudity a lot. Like, I don't know if that says anything about me or what.
Well, it's kind of quintessential with slasher horror films.
Well, you know what it is.
That's kind of like the 80s slasher films.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you know what it is? It's and this is going to sound super pretentious, but it's kind of like when you're cooking and you need to make ingredients that are similar but different, and you add them together and it just enhances the flavor of whatever you're cooking. It's kind of like that because you're getting excited because you're watching a horror movie and it's stimulating you. You know, it's some part of your brain, like just this fear sensor, but then you also have like nudity and stuff like that, and you're also being stimulated by that. So it's two different types of feelings,
right? And they
mixed
just
together,
mix them together, and
which is kind of like they go hand in hand. I'm afraid.
Wait, boobies.
Yeah. And I mean, I've seen some horror movies that actually make use of like sexuality. Like, have you seen It Follows at all?
No, you were telling me about it and how I need to watch it.
That's a very good horror movie. I mean, it's a very good movie by itself, but it's a lot about sexuality, and there's this kind of dread and perverse sense of like inevitability, and just like once you do this one thing, like you can never go back again. And it's like, it's interesting how, you know, horror and sexuality kind of are combined, you know? Like even early movies, like all the Hammer films, all the ladies had really low-cut dresses and stuff like that. Like, it's just always been a weird thing, and I've never understood that. And I think that's the one thing that games haven't really done yet, and I don't really want them to do it.
They like over-sexualize everything, and they turn it into like, I don't know, they can't dance around
like lollipop chainsaw, and plus games by itself, I've never been like, oh, this game's sexy, man. All this fake naked lady.
Yeah,
it's like,
I mean, you can't, like, no matter what, like, you can't render something where, I mean, in most people's eyes,
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say in regular people's eyes,
that, you know, that it invokes that same, like, you know, emotion. Yeah, exactly.
Because there's a lot of people like, whoa, Laura
like,
Croft
whoa, man, no, have you seen the graphics? I mean, like, this is pretty cool, and
I thought those fake movies were real.
I mean, you don't know nothing. It looks real. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But no. So I'm excited to finish up Dead Space, and hopefully we can get through Halo as well. It's kind of weird that Halo's kind of getting jumped into this month, but it's just kind of time to release.
Well, you decided you wanted to play through all 4.
Well,
of them,
that kind of Adam really also influenced me a lot on that. But
I just wanted just to.
You got the flood, basically zombies.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I just wanted to do Fatal Frame, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, let's.
And even that was an undertaking.
Well, we're going to try to be more consistent now, and you know, for those who have been following and listening, appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Should give us a like and a sub, and catch us on
an actual submarine sandwich.
We would like that. Yeah.
I like a nice steak
as well,
and cheese.
maybe for like men's health.
Yeah, I could like that.
Send us various subscriptions to things. Just, you know, whatever you think.
Just anything. Men's Health. I like Skeptic Magazine.
Like those box
Science
subscriptions that you can get.
Yeah. Send me a Nerd Box or whatever the hell it is. It's always filled with garbage.
Maybe one of just wine and cheese.
That's good too.
Yeah.
Just send us stuff. Boxes.
All right. Well, thanks for watching or listening to Mike to Mike.
Mike to Mike drive time.
Yeah, a mobile.
Yeah.
First mobile Mike to Mike.
Mobile Mike to Mike. Now that's alliteration.
There you go.